What's up, guys? We are back with another Marvel Legends review, jumping into the Bonebreaker wave with maybe not the most exciting figure in this wave, but I can't not be excited personally about another Wolverine. I mean, it's Wolverine. I'm always on board. So we've got the Hot Claws version of Wolverine. So this is kind of a very specific interpretation of Wolverine that sort of came and went, really. But I'm excited to get another one. It's a different take on Tiger Stripe Wolverine, right? So we've, of course, got him here in our standard packaging for the Marvel Legends line. Figure in the window, X-Men logo down there on the bottom. We've got some more great artwork from David Nakayama on the side and the back, showcasing Wolverine with those, you know, fiery claws. And then you've got a little bit of a bio as well as our lineup and BAF for the wave. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, the latest Wolverine in a very long line of Wolverines when it comes to the current era of Marvel Legends, our Hot Claws version. And that's not really a complaint. I'll pretty much scoop up any comic Wolverine they want to throw at me. It's just one of those figures, one of those characters that I need to have them all of. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. If you've got a Wolverine, you know, within the past, what, like 6 years, you basically know what this guy can do. So we've got a head that can look up all the way, down all the way. Really good range on that neck. Little bit of bobble, full rotation. Arms go out at the shoulders about that far. The shoulder pads are going to get in the way slightly, but he still has pretty good range. Full rotation. You do have a butterfly joint forward and backward. Bicep swivel. We've got double jointed elbows. They go about that far. It's a little bit better than 90. It's not too high because he's got big biceps. You've got hinges and rotation at the wrist. Ab crunch goes backwards, forwards really far. Waist twist, of course. The legs go out only about this far. That's probably one of the areas he's most limited at. Kick forward all the way. Kick backwards slightly. You've got your thigh cut. We've got double jointed knees. They go back that far. And then you've got a boot cut, which is hidden really nicely by the boot. And then we've got really nice rocker and hinges down at those ankles. So really nicely articulated figure. I mean, the only thing I truly want more with Wolverine, I want this body really, but I want him pinless. Because I'm still very happy with the way he moves and what he's capable of. I'm really happy with this particular form factor for Wolverine, and he still moves really, really nicely. The only real upgrade that I could truly want is maybe for him to be pinless down the road, or if we're going to get even further than that, you know, maybe get away from the waist twist and incorporate some sort of a ball waist down there. But otherwise, still very much on board with this mold and set of parts. Now, as far as aesthetics goes, this version, this suit for Wolverine, is still very familiar. It's not Tiger Stripe, but it is Tiger Stripe. It's very similar, but it's just different enough. The color scheme is, of course, changed up, but the idea of the original Tiger Stripe kind of suit is still there. So, of course, you know, we've got the blue and the yellow. This time, the yellow is like highlighter yellow. The blue is a little bit of a navy blue instead of more of that, you know, bright royal kind of blue. So there is difference. He's a little bit more broken up in terms of the color. So you've got these stripes on the shoulders. You've actually got, you know, blue on the legs instead of it just being that sort of orangey yellow color. The boots are the same kind of boots that we've seen before, darker blue to match the suit. And then you've still got those black fins. He does, of course, have his gloves with the clawed hands. And we'll talk about the claws here in a minute. The shoulder pads, the pauldrons, are black this time. So that's one area that kind of stands out from the color scheme, so it's not yellow or blue. You know, normally his pauldrons would be blue to match the gloves and the undies. We do get a nice belt here. I really do like the belt on him. Nice gold metallic paint with red on the X, and then of course the belt itself is blue to match the suit. So it's a very familiar take on a Wolverine suit, just different enough to be unique. And, you know, while we're talking about it, I'm going to go ahead and just do it. We're not going to do size comparisons for this because this Wolverine he's nothing new. So there's our suit comparison. So our Tiger Stripe, the original Tiger Stripe Wolverine with our new figure here. And you can see they are very, very similar. They're just a little bit different. It's kind of, some stuff it's a little bit inverted in some ways. The belt's different. The pauldrons are a different color. And then, of course, you know, we've got different head sculpt on him here. But we do get like the normal stoic Wolverine head sculpt. So you've got the big black fins, the yellow for the mask, the white pupilless eyes, and just like kind of a stoic non-expression on his face. If there's one thing I really would have liked to have seen is a more expressive masked head sculpt for this figure. Just because I really like to have like a growling or a snarling Wolverine. But I am happy that we do, of course, get a masked head. It's not just a situation where we only get an unmasked. We do get both, and we'll talk about that head here in a second. But the big difference for this guy is, of course, the hot claws, the heat claws, and I mean, they're just different and weird enough that I think it's a cool addition. You know, it's kind of a thing that kind of came and went for Wolverine. I don't think he still has them anymore. They kind of just disappeared. But these are very familiar with like some of the more recent kind of claws that they've been using. They're thicker. They are a different kind of material, so they shouldn't ideally be coming all warped in the package like we used to see. I've had no issues with that. So they're slightly translucent plastic with red at the bottom, and then they're kind of frosted at the tips. So this is another set of claws that I am very happy with right out of the gate from Hasbro. I don't feel the need to replace these with anything. You know, I'm certainly not going to give him metal claws like I do with most of my figures. So that's kind of cool. I just like the idea that his claws work really well right out of the box. And, you know, despite the fact that this isn't necessarily something that's kind of current in the comics really anymore, I do think it's a cool idea. You know, burning claws is not exactly a new thing, but this interpretation of them was, of course, pretty unique at the time, you know, when he comes back. So I do think they're pretty cool. It's definitely the most defining characteristic of the figure for me, outside of the fact that we do get this different take on the classic Tiger Stripe suit. And then as far as accessories go, Wolverine only gets one, so we don't even get extra hands with this figure, which normally would be a thing I would complain about for another figure, but for him, I don't really care. I don't ever display Wolverines without claws, so of course your mileage may vary on that. It is kind of something that probably does feel like he's a little light on accessories, but we do get one. He doesn't even come with any Build-A-Figure pieces. It's pretty normal for Wolverine figures to not, because, you know, he kind of sells himself. But we do get the unmasked sort of yelling head sculpt, and I believe this is the same head that came in the 5-pack, but the paint is a little bit different on it. He's got like more defined lips. The paint does look pretty good though. I do want to say that this is photo printed. It certainly looks like it. And then you've got, you know, kind of a glossy finish in the mouth, so his tongue looks a little wet almost. And the eyes look really clean and crisp. I do have a little hit of something on his cheek right over here, and I don't know what it is because it's not a color that I think should be on the figure at all. But I can take that off. Otherwise, though, I do like this head sculpt. I think it's all right. I don't know that I'm going to use it because, you know, when it comes to Wolverine, it's always about the helmeted head, or the masked head, rather. So I do really like this one. And, of course, it'll be good for, you know, a more expressive scene. But that's kind of goes back to what I said previously, where I kind of wish he had a masked head that was a little more expressive. But at the same time, at least we do get some options with this guy. So, yeah, overall, very happy with this figure. I'm still very much a fan of this body, this form of construction for Wolverine when it comes to Legends. I like that he's smaller. You know, he is very much in scale with a lot of other figures because he does kind of skew on the short side. I love this version of the suit. It's a nice different take on something that's very classic for Wolverine. It doesn't replace the Tiger Stripe. It's just a different interpretation of it in many ways. I like the hot claws. I think they look cool. They very much work as just something a little bit different for Wolverine on your shelf. And these are the more improved style of claws that I just like to see in general. He doesn't really come with a lot beyond that. You know, he doesn't have any extra hands of any kind, and he only comes with the head. But for me, generally speaking, just getting an extra head is enough because, well, he always needs his claws as far as I'm concerned. Again, your mileage may vary on what you truly want to see with this figure, but for me, I'm pretty happy with this package. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends Bonebreaker Wave Wolverine. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.